600,000 people go missing in the United States each year. Tens of thousands remain mysteriously missing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Mysteriously Missing and Happy Thanksgiving. I'm Justine.
And I'm Karen. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a young woman named Danniella Vian, and she went missing in Mobile, Alabama. She's a mother, and she went missing about 2 months ago, July 17th, 2018.
Yeah, she's about 5'8", 120 pounds. She has dark red hair and brown eyes.
And this case was very confusing as to what occurred in a very short amount of time and why she took the direction she did. But it was caught on video, a camera, at a Shell station at 11 o'clock at night. Now, it went on the news, that video camera, but immediately the police confiscated it and said, please do not put that back on the news. But we will go over the details as to what happened that night. It was a lot to piece together.
And the night that Danniella went missing, she had a pink baseball cap on. She was also wearing a black mellow mushroom t-shirt.
And I was wondering if that was, there's 150 locations of this restaurant back east there, and they're pizza bakers for over 40 years, and I'm wondering if that was what was on there, or was it some kind of other symbol?
Like a logo type shirt, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She also had light blue or gray button-down shirt that was tied around her waist, and she had black Converse on, and then it was reported that she had black leggings on as well.
Right, and she was driving a 2014 deep blue Chevy Cruze, but what's so interesting is that she had saved up her money to buy that car, and the very day she went missing, the car is gone too. She and the car are missing on the very day. In fact, she was out celebrating the purchase of her new car. So it had the paper tags on it, and it was bought from Pearl Motors, which was kind of in the area of where she went missing, but I don't think it's related at all. Alabama DMV states that the temporary tag is displayed in the back window, and the car reportedly had a white scratch on the bottom passenger side door. So a deep blue Chevy Cruze 2014 that she had purchased.
Right, and I just want to add, she does have a couple tattoos. She had a flower on her left shoulder.
A mandala, yeah.
And I believe a headstone kind of towards the front of her left shoulder, and then an elephant tattoo on her wrist.
Right. Namus is saying her current age is 25 years old, so she must have had a birthday since she went missing on July 17th, 2018. They're also reporting that she is between 5'4" and 5'6", and between 110 and 120 pounds. So a little bit different on different sites, but that's the information we have from them.
Yeah, so let's get into what happened the day that she went missing. It was in the morning that Julie Thomas, which is her daughter's grandmother, her boyfriend's mom, they drove to Pearl Motors so she could purchase a car. She had been saving up from her job where she worked at P.F. Chang's, so this was her first car that she had been saving her own money for.
Yeah, very commendable to save that much money to buy a car, and I'm sure she was very excited. Julie Thomas is quoted as saying, I pulled up to the dealership, she went inside, got the keys, and got her car. She was all excited. I assumed she was going back to her apartment to get ready for work.
Yeah, and I mean, like anyone, you're super excited, you just got a car, she's texting her friends. One of her friends named Randy Cap. She wanted to hang out and celebrate her purchase. And of course, everyone was working. I guess she ends up at Heroes, where Randy works as a bartender. And she was later joined at the bar by Denson White and another female that we actually don't know the name of.
Yeah, one thread said her initials were MK, and it didn't seem as important as to who she was, but it was reported that Denson and this MK person are not close friends. It's kind of like she went up to see Randy as he's working and, waiting for him to get off work. And then, they were sitting at the bar, those two. It kind of feels like that, or maybe Randy knew them, and then they all just got to chatting. So at 9:12, the three of them MK, Denson, and Danniella decide to go to another bar, Dublin's. And it's not far from Heroes. And they were going to wait for Randy to get off work.
Yeah, wasn't it just like a block away or something? Not too far.
Not far at all.
Okay. And towards the end of Randy's shift, Randy texts the three of them and tells them to meet him at a third bar called Ollie's.
Yeah, and Ollie's and Dublin's are both open till 2, and Randy's place of business closes down at like 10 o'clock. So he was, kind of closing up the bar and that kind of thing, and they were just kind of waiting for him.
Right.
So.
And they were all driving in separate cars, too. So there's 3 cars total.
Well, I think there was 4 cars. I think that MK had her own car, too. So that
okay.
was, and that was reported that Denson had a rental car and that he was going to return that night, too. So, so Heroes to Dublin's is a short distance, and it's to the east of Heroes. Like, you just go about, not 0.6 of a mile. And then Heroes and Ollie's, where they were going to meet when Randy got off work, was a short distance as well. So, it was all kind of in the same area.
And then around like 10:45, Randy had called Danniella, but she didn't answer her phone.
Right. So it's small a timeline as this is, it's a little complicated. And because I think at that same approximate time, Danniella and Denson and the woman, who were all in separate cars, were en route to Ollie's. But something happens that Denson and Danniella don't even end up near Ollie's.
Yeah, so around 11:05, there was cameras at a Shell gas station that showed Denson and Danniella's car pulling in. Apparently, Danniella had discovered while traveling down the I-65 that she forgot her phone. So she was trying to flash her lights at Denson, let him know, hey, pull over, got to go back and get my phone.
But here's a strange thing, that if you look at the map that we're going to put up on our Instagram for Mysteriously Missing, the Shell station is not anywhere near Ollie's. It's not even on the way. She got on the interstate, which is totally east of Dublin's, and went down the interstate. Ollie's is just below Dublin's. There's no way that you would go that way, and it's quite a few miles around. And then she flashes her lights and says she forgot her phone, so they pull off, supposedly per Denson, at the Shell station.
Which is kind of odd, even if you think, like, maybe there was a road closed, they had to take a different route or whatever, but that's still way out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, they were in town with those 3 locations, Heroes, Dublin's, and Ollie's, and now she's totally at another part of town going down the interstate heading towards the Gulf, so it's very, very odd.
Right.
So to clarify, Heroes to Dublin's is 0.6 miles. Then you go south from Dublin's to Ollie's, that's 2.7 miles. What happened with Danniella following Denson is they went almost 13 miles around if you went to Ollie's that way, and they ended up on the interstate, which makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, none at all. Yeah, so now it's about 11 o'clock at night. Randy had gotten off of work, and he meets the female, which we call MK, at Ollie's. And now it's about 11:07. Denson's car leaves the Shell station to return to Dublin's to get Danniella's phone. The camera shows Danniella's car stays at the station, so she's still at the gas station. Per Denson, he thinks Danniella is following him apparently the whole time, back to Dublin's.
Yeah, he's quoted as saying, he said he went inside, found her phone, and then waited for her about 20 minutes to see if she would show up. But she didn't, so he got in his car and went to Heroes where the rest of the group was. So that's what he's saying. I don't know, again, why they were down there at the Shell station.
Now it's about, a couple minutes later, a third car had pulled into the Shell station, and it stopped by Danniella's car. And this is the weird thing. It stops her for about 15 minutes. And this is all captured on the cameras. Then all of a sudden, both cars leave, and we don't know which way they went.
Right, and the cameras and the footage have been pulled by the police department. So at 11:37, Denson texts his friend MK, we're calling, that he is at Dublin's to get Danniella's phone, but lost her along the way. And then at 12 a.m. approximately, Denson arrives at Ollie's and stays for a few minutes.
So now it's 1 o'clock in the morning the next day, July 18th. Denson returns his rental car, which I don't know who returns a rental car.
Or the same night, next day,
yeah,
same night.
1 o'clock in the morning. He returns a rental car, which I don't know why at 1 o'clock in the morning you'd be returning a car.
Yeah.
Apparently he goes home and he still has Danniella's phone because no one has seen her all night. The next morning, that morning technically, about 7:30 in the morning, the grandmother, Julie, gets a call from Denson.
And so Julie's quoted as saying, I told him to take it to her work at P.F. Chang's. And because Danniella and this isn't a quote, but Julie said that she wasn't worried because Danniella often forgot her phone places. So I guess that was not uncommon for her to leave her phone somewhere.
So by 9 o'clock that morning, Julie had called Danniella's apartment complex and asked them to put a note on her door, to inform her to call her as soon as she gets that note. Later that morning, Denson calls Julie because Tyler had kept calling Danniella's phone, and now Tyler knows exactly what's going on. About 4 o'clock later, that afternoon, Julie goes to Danniella's apartment, and she does see a note on the door, so she just assumes that she's hanging out with friends.
Yeah, the note was still on the door, and so obviously Danniella hadn't been there, and she probably assumed she's still stayed at some friend's house or something. So
Right.
During the day, Julie had plans with Danniella, and by sundown, she had not shown up. So Friday morning, and now we're talking 2.5 days later since she's seen on that Shell camera. At 7:30 in the morning, Denson calls again. Now, he didn't take the phone to P.F. Chang's.
Which is weird.
Yeah, why didn't he do that if he's, it's somebody else's phone? I'd feel a little weird keeping a phone.
Yeah.
He didn't take it, and he calls her again. Maybe Tyler told him to keep it. I don't know. But anyway, and Julie tells him she is going to the police. So now it's 2.5 days later. And she's going to file a missing person report. And would he meet her there? So I guess when they were at the police station, Julie was kind of asking, why did you guys end up at the Shell station when Ollie's is near Dublin's and that's totally off course? And what he told her is he was going home and Danniella must have gotten confused and thought he was going to Ollie's. So after that, Julie and Denson are told by the police to go to different police stations to make their statements. So they separated them. And then Denson gives Julie Danniella's phone. She has it for a very short time, can't look up much of anything, but she does turn over the phone to the police.
Right, and around 11 o'clock, Danniella was supposed to be at work at P.F. Chang's, but she never showed up that day.
Yeah, so that's the timeline as pieced together as best we can. It is a bit confusing, but I think it's pretty accurate as far as the information that they're letting us have out. And the police are not giving much information. In the months since she's been missing, none of her personal items or her car have been found. Family and friends have posted flyers. They held a vigil. They made T-shirts to keep her name in the spotlight. And the Mobile Police Department did start a blog called Find Danniella.
Yeah, and some interesting points for her case is that law enforcement had confiscated the tapes from the Shell gas station, and they've actually asked the media not to show those to anyone, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, you would think that the public could help identify any third vehicle, anybody who showed up, even if it's grainy, what is actually going on, because people really have a lot of information if you give them something to go on.
Right. And then apparently her GPS system in her car that she had just purchased wasn't working or it had been disabled, so we're unable to track where her car is.
Right, and was it disabled at that time?
Mm-hmm. And then it's reported that she actually had given birth to another baby. This is a second baby, and she gave that baby up for adoption.
Recently. Mm-hmm.
Right, and then Tyler, either her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend at the time, was in jail on unrelated charges during her disappearance.
Right, and Julie, his mother, is quoted as saying he has guilt of not being there with her to protect her when she went missing. So, of course, he is very mad. He's dealing with every emotion. He's going to have to be the mom and the dad. And then there was another incident that came up where a large police presence went to a home in Theodore, Alabama on September 13th, supposedly a connection to the case. Now, the Mobile Police Department pulled out the stops, technical resources, canine units, and resource officers with shovels searching this property. Police would not say if they were looking for Vian, but they did say they did not find her. Now, Julie Thomas says it was a separate incident after it's all over, said and done, involving Julie's nephew that brought police out, and it was domestic violence that brought him out. So it's a very strange case that she ended up in an area where she wasn't meant to go. And it brings to my mind a possibility that perhaps they were going down there to do a drug deal, and Denson didn't accurately state that she got confused and was following him. The rain, there was a little rain and drizzle that night, and some thunder, high in the 87s, low in the 73s. So it was warm, but is it possible that after the Shell station, maybe that wasn't something sketchy with that third car? She went on the road, and then there, if you head towards the Gulf, there's a lot of water. Did she, get the car and her submerged in water? So that's a possibility. It's confusing that she pulls in to the gas station after Denson.
Right.
He pulls out at 11:07. A minute later, a third car pulls in. And that area, it's reported, is a little edgy. I mean, it's not an area you want to stop and hang out at.
Well, and it's not like, if someone's asking directions for maybe they're lost or something, but that third car had pulled in for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's not directions.
Yeah,
that's more like, why are we talking? Was there foul play at the time?
Maybe they were threatening her, telling her to drive somewhere.
That's right. Someone gets in the car with her.
Right.
Even though the footage was seen by some people before it was taken off the air and taken from police, they didn't say anything about people getting out of the car. So
you think someone would have seen someone get into her car?
Which makes me think that maybe she was going to buy some marijuana, who knows what. And she goes and follows that car for a little bit.
Well, and what if Denson led her to that gas station?
To do the deal.
Because, again, this was way out of the route to the bar that they were going to go to.
Right.
The other girl, MK, wasn't even following them, so it's just them two.
Right. She went right to Ollie's to wait for Randy.
So he drove her here. He left. He knew that third car was going to come in. Whatever that third car did or said to her, whatever happened, it kind of seems like it was set up in a way. Like Denson knew.
It feels a little strange.
Yeah.
And also, if you're going to do a deal, go ahead, do it. But maybe they knew the cameras were there. I don't know. Maybe let's go to another parking lot. But it's almost like foul play was going to happen.
Right.
And it's very sad. Just bought her car, and just turning her life around. She had great goals, and it was stated, and just wanting to do the right thing. And that's admirable, again, that she had saved up her money for a car. So.
Yeah. And another thing is like the whole cell phone, he went back to get her phone. They didn't really know each other that well. Like they weren't friends.
Why did he keep it?
Yeah, why did he keep it? Why didn't he give it back to Randy or the grandmother?
Yeah.
It just seems like...
I'd be doing some hard questioning on these people. What the heck is going on?
Right.
So, yeah, it's very confusing. And I guess he might be the son of somebody prominent in the community. I'm not sure who exactly that is, but the people in the local area may know him. So the police, again, are handling it, and I guess we need to leave it to them.
As of October 15th, 2018, the Mobile Police Department is currently offering a $5,000 reward for any information about Danniella's disappearance. Police wrote in a blog post, "This blog is designed for information on the case, and any comments or suggestions are welcome to be posted here."
Yeah, and they've also had the fundraisers, which we mentioned previously, and vigils for her. And one fundraiser was September 2nd at Hurricane Grill and Wings, where she used to work. And they're using social media, pizza boxes for posters, and billboards for awareness to bring Danniella home.
Yeah, and they have a Facebook page as well called Bring Danniella Home. So you can kind of check that out and see if there's any more information on there. We also will be posting some pictures and stuff on our Instagram, which is Mysteriously Missing. We'll post some of the maps and different things.
Email us at mysteriously-missing411@gmail.com.
And just to get it out there, if you have any information, you can also contact the Mobile Police Department at 251-208-1862.
Or if you want to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers of Southwest Alabama at 251-208-7000. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everyone.